Okay. What up, everybody? This your boy B Rob, and we're here with another edition of Wrestling is Trash, a nonsensical wrestling podcast to where we talk about professional wrestling, past, present, cough, and quite possibly the future. I had to get it out. I had to push that corona out of my system. But happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there in the world that may be listening or watching or whatever the case may be. Happy Veterans Day to you. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir. To my microphone. Damn it, it's this way. All right, to that way. Is you watching wrestling?
I am actually. I'm watching
I know.
Survivor
I
Series
see it in your
15.
window.
Yeah, Undertaker and that fighting. Boy,
Ooh,
happy Veterans Day again to you,
yeah.
you
But
salt dog.
what we got crack-a-lacking today, homie? You had some stuff on your mind. You wanted to get off your chest. Some
Well,
things
yeah,
you want to talk about.
we were sitting there actually at work talking about Veterans Day, kind of things, kind of opportunities and things we've done that we kind of got to credit to our time in the military. You know what I mean? So I was
Yeah,
like, we was talking about. I was talking about wrestling. I was like, yo, I've done a lot of wrestling stuff. I made a lot of friends just strictly off wrestling and being in the military. Like I feel kind of like what we say all the time, like how we have that kind of group chat, like you know how it is in the military. I could have never met you, but I run into you at work. We'd probably click just because we were both in the military. I feel it's kind of the same thing with the wrestling community.
yeah. It's definitely a thing. It's all wrestling is like its own cult, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't know. It feels right. It's weird to say that. It just feels right. If you say you go somewhere, you feel uncomfortable, you feel alone and some shit, and you just overhear somebody talking about a wrestling match, and you just like, oh, was this you say? I like wrestling, and then it's like it kind of overcompasses anxiety and all kinds of other things like that. Because if you're like a socially awkward person, you shy. But if somebody get to talking about wrestling or something like that, or just something in general that you're interested in, it's just like all that shit gets pushed to the side, and you're like, wrestling? Can we talk about the wrestling? I like the wrestling.
It's kind of like you and I, honestly. When I first got to Missouri, I was there like 2 months. I knew who you were because I would see you. We weren't on the same team. I'm a corporal at the time. You're a staff sergeant. I'm like, you know how it is. I ain't gonna just go up to you and be, hey, what up, bro? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like, then we went to that one wrestling show together, that house show in Springfield,
yeah, man.
with all of us. It was a big group of us.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the first one we went to, right? That was because Roque
Yeah,
drove the van, right?
yeah. We took the van. Yep. And
Yeah,
then after that, me and you, kind of went on from there because then later, literally, not even a year later, me, you, Roque was supposed to go, but he had a family member, I believe, or a close friend pass away. So
yeah.
Dunn came, but then we went to Battleground in
And that's when the
2015.
Undertaker came back, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the last time you were excited to see that motherfucker.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you were. I have the videos on my phone to prove it.
Yeah, I think it really was because that was before WrestleMania 30, right?
No, that was
Or was
after.
it shortly after?
That was the Mania, so that was in July. That Mania is when he came back to fight Wyatt.
Okay, yeah. So it was after WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, after WrestleMania. Yep, he interfered with Lesnar and Rollins.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where the downturn started for me. I mean, I was excited in that moment, but I think around when him and Brock had the Hell in the Cell, I think that's when it started to go down for me.
Yeah, because when he fought Shane at Hell in a Cell, it was But like you said, did you ever end up watching the last chapter? Or you said you're waiting until he's done.
Look, that's just how I am with this particular instance. It's just like I don't feel like I need to watch that shit until I know for sure that
That he
the
done.
door's closed or whatever. I mean, there's occasion for an occasional appearance to where hey, they're doing like this special thing. He pop up or something. I mean, I'm cool with stuff like that. But as long as this motherfucker ain't wrestling,
Yeah.
you
And like
know,
I said, I'll tell you something from it. It's not giving it away because it's obvious because we actively watch wrestling. But
yeah,
we all know when he fought Roman, he did not look good in that match.
no,
But you'll see, like, before that, like, the days before when he decides to record, he limping and all that shit around, and then he was bigger. Then when he trained for that New Orleans match that you saw with Cena,
Yeah.
obviously he was training for a match. I guess he didn't know it was a squash, but they show him putting on his gear like that night backstage, and he's like, has all that room in his shit because he lost like 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Because you got to admit, well, the Boneyard match he looked good, but that's cinematic. But I
Yeah.
thought he looked good at least in his last match. Now, granted, it was a tag match, that one with Roman against McIntyre and Shane, but I thought
I,
he looked good.
I vaguely remember that.
But we remember how
Probably because I
awful.
didn't watch it.
But we remember how awful the Goldberg match was.
Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen glimpses of the shenanigans.
Goldberg had button doors, can't concussions and shit.
No, it wasn't even that. The motherfucker ran his head into that fucking ring post.
Yeah, true.
After that, it was a wrap, man. I mean, I don't even feel like it could have been too much better, even if he hadn't smacked his head or got concussed. But
Well, I
I
just
believe it
think
would have
that
been a lot
too.
shorter. It would have just been to the point, and it would have been done.
You know what it is too, though. I get it. It is kind of a dream match. Goldberg ran the '90s on their side. Undertaker did on his, like Stone Cold. Definitely Stone Cold Goldberg's better at dream match, in my opinion, because they both bald. But Taker goes distance. Goldberg doesn't go distance. Goldberg doesn't have good long matches.
Yeah, and then I know it's weird too because you talk about going the distance. You know, it's weird to say. I don't even know how I'm forming my brain matter to compile thoughts to say these words I'm about to say. Goldberg would have been better off if he never came back. I mean, obviously it's great to see him, big pop. It would have it drew money, yeah, whatever. But he would have been better off had he never come back because he's starting to do the same shit that the Undertaker was doing. He went out on a dime. He went out great. I mean, we wouldn't. It wasn't the ending that we wanted. The ending of the streak, and then all that other bullshit or whatever. But he was gone, and that was the end of it. And boom, Undertaker, greatest of all time. But to me, him and Goldberg, they keep coming back and they keep fucking up and they keep sullying that shit. They keep spoiling it, and I don't fucking like it.
And then, like we've said before on here, Goldberg ain't done. He's still got a couple matches on
Yeah,
contract.
supposedly what 2 to 4 left matches.
I think he has to do 2021 and maybe 2022, but 2 matches. What I don't like what they did with Goldberg was, dog. Why are you getting this dude? Since he came back in 2017, he's had 2 Universal title runs. Like, why? He Goldberg.
Yeah. See, Goldberg coming back was a total waste of money and time for that company. He doesn't have it anymore. I mean,
or even if they did, sorry I cut you off. I know you, but even if they did, he came back in 2016. They did the squash match with Brock, and then the one again at Mania as a rematch, and Brock
that
won.
was fine.
Cool.
That was fine.
Yeah, it didn't need to be for the title either.
No.
But no, I agree with.
I think that's the thing that they do wrong, or what we perceive that they do wrong. It's just like you have these big marquee players like The Undertaker, like Brock, like Goldberg, and anybody within that legendary status. You bring them in, you automatically know they're going to gain the attention of wrestling fans. You already know it's going to put asses in seats if we was doing that type of thing. But it's going to put eyeballs on the television because you have these key marquee names. They're not there often, and it was big back in the heyday when they were there. People want to know what the fuck is going on with them. But then you do this bullshit and it's not what you expect it to be. And then you keep doing this bullshit and it's not what you expect it to be. And it's not working. But to your point, because of their name alone, the title should nowhere be involved in that bullshit. And if it is, they should not win. It should be strictly to put the title holder or that newer talent over.
And then
Period.
you got to blame Goldberg because clearly, now I don't know what they've ever had planned with Taker, but at least he ain't taking title matches. Now, Taker, I said this. A lot of people disagree. Some agree. Taker, the only dude I think who could win the title but retire with it, kind of thing. Like do the whole with the belt and the ring, and then he retired. Someone else. Now we do a tournament or something.
I,
But
I kind of felt like that could have been the deal with the streak. I mean, he didn't
now, do
necessarily
you
he
think
didn't
Brock should have
have
ended
to
it? Now
lose.
that you think about it,
Yeah, he didn't necessarily have to lose the streak, or the match that he did lose the streak in would also be a title match. You know, I want to go out.
streakless title.
Yeah, it could have been like I want to go out as the greatest of all time. I want to go out undefeated at WrestleMania. I want to go out as the champion. You know, and that could have been like a crazy, freaking awesome story. But we don't get what we want.
That was a game time decision too. Apparently,
What was that?
ending the streak. I think it was until literally a day or two before it was planned for Taker to beat Brock.
And then that's what we all expected, but I think they just wanted to be different. And then it's not like the streak was a thing initially that they were aware of and that they were doing on purpose. It's just how the booking happened to be, you know?
Yeah, he says in his documentary he didn't realize he was undefeated. I think until he was maybe like 7 or 8-0.
Mm-hmm. And then one of them was kind of fluky or whatever. It was like a tag match type deal with
Oh,
Nathan.
the one with A Train and
yeah, all that crazy shit.
yeah, no, but I guess what we were kind of getting at with the whole podcast, the point behind it is
But we got talking about that punk ass Undertaker and that sorry ass Goldberg.
they were on the TV. You see that you're on TV, and then we can deviate. But what do you think? I guess we can dive into the shows or whatever. But like, kind of like you said, like you got to think. Like, so when I was in North Carolina before I met you, that's where I met George, right? And like we came the wrestling, and it's crazy because like it's weird because I still stay in touch with him. We talk about more than just wrestling, but it's crazy that that was the one thing through all the time knowing each other in the Marine Corps and all that kept, because how many people you meet in the Marine Corps that you don't talk to once you PCS or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, freaking. So I guess like all the different shows, like, did you start going to a lot more shows kind of once Missouri came? Because that's when you started doing the Mania trips and.
Well, Missouri for me, even though it wasn't like the most ideal duty station.
Yeah, we can agree on that.
But I feel like it was some of the best times for me, in my career because I was so exposed to wrestling. I had never been around that much wrestling from the time I was in the Marine Corps or whatever. I mean, just that area in itself to where we were was just surrounded by all kinds of wrestling, independent wrestling, WWE, and just all kinds of stuff. And, because of being there and how, I guess my true fandom of professional wrestling came out to where, people wanted to send me, and my family wanted to send me to a WrestleMania, and so I went to my first WrestleMania from Missouri.
And then even the one you went the year after, it was in Dallas, 8 hours away.
I know. I drive longer than that to go home and visit family. I was like, 8 hours? That ain't shit.
That one you had floor seats too, right? They were kind of back, but you were on the ground.
Yeah, I was on the ground level of the Cowboy Stadium, which is fucking ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Because my cousin lives in Dallas, and I saw the stadium, and it's massive.
Dude, I was on the side that Shane McMahon fell off the cage.
Yeah, I remember you seeing the videos. I was like, oh my God.
And then I caught the Shane O'Mac money and everything, and I don't even know where it is now.
I was just gonna ask, do you even still have that?
It's somewhere because I got a box with all my autographs and all my wrestling stuff in it somewhere. It's just somewhere in this house.
But it's just crazy.
I got a Ric Flair lottery ticket signed by Ric Flair, who I met in Walmart
in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I know, who would think you would start a podcast or your Instagram would be 90% Walmart, and that's where you met Ric Flair of all people.
That's kind of another reason why I probably kept going to Walmart too. I was like, who else is gonna be in here?
Yeah, actually, you see Rikishi in aisle 6.
Well, shit, I meet random motherfuckers, and when I go places, because I was in Lejeune, and I went to the Exchange one day, and fucking Road Warrior Hulk was there. I mean, not Hulk,
Yeah, like,
Animal. Because that day he died, not too long ago, I posted the picture of me and him in exchange together.
it's just crazy too, because like obviously nowadays you see it too. Maybe back then I didn't pay attention, but even now the active roster has a lot of Marines on it
hmm Lacey
and
Evans,
military, not just Marines. Because look
yeah,
at
yeah,
Bobby Lashley,
yeah. Bobby Lashley, Lacey Evans, the
Steve
freaking
Cutler,
dude from goddamn
Montez.
Montez Ford, the dude from the Forgotten
Yeah,
Sons.
Steve Cutler. Two of
Yeah,
them, I think. I
two
don't
of
know
them
the
are
other one.
in Forgotten
Yeah,
Sons. I think what Randy Orton was one too.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he earned the title.
Yeah, he earned the title, but I don't think he kept it when he left.
But it's just crazy, like little things, like how you said, exposed you to so much. Like me and George always said to each other, like, "Yo, if another mania happens near on the East Coast, we gotta go."
Yeah,
Because we became boys in 13, but after Mania, and then shit, the three of us went.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we went to that shit, but it was crazy too. Like wrestling, just in the military, exposed. Like I'll never forget. It was a few weeks before Mania. I don't know if you remember. It's when I actually met Macy the first time through George. But I remember we were standing up the pull-up bar, doing the little recruiting thing, and they let us in like an hour before they even let people in. And I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden Jeff Hardy's just walking with his hands in his pocket, just walking a lap. And I was like, I'm not gonna bother the dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that ain't me. Like, we close, like, 10 feet away. Like, not gonna be that guy.
yeah,
And then he did another lap, and he looked at me and he said, "What's up?" And we talked like very briefly. I kind of regret it now. I didn't ask for a photo, but they probably get so bombarded with that shit. I was like, man, the experience was kind of enough.
yeah. I mean, and it was kind of similar. You bring up Jeff Hardy. I was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, once again, and I forgot why I had to go home, but I was taking a flight. I flew up to Raleigh, and I was taking my connector in Raleigh to go down to Houston, and I'm sitting there in the terminal, getting ready to board the plane. Lita, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy walk through the terminal, and they sit literally 2 seats away from me, and I'm just like, for
Hey.
real, this is happening right now. This is that they're like right there. Like Lita is sitting 2 seats away from me, and Matt and Jeff were right on the other side of her, and I'm just like, the fuck. And I was just like you. I mean, man, they probably traveling, they busy, and they probably get this all the fucking time. So I'm sitting there dorky than the motherfucker. I think I'm like a Lance Corporal or something like that. PFC. I was real young in, and I had my little shoulder bag and shit, and I had like the Marine Corps sticker on the front. Real boot like. I'm talking about like the recruiter ones you hand out, the shiny silver one and shit.
Oh yeah.
And I just kind of flopped it over the chair and shit so it faced them so they could see it, and hopefully they start a conversation and shit. And then I was like, well, shit, I got to use the restroom. I said, maybe I can stop by the gift shop and get a disposable camera and take a picture or some shit like that. Then I got to the freaking checkout counter. And it's like $27 for a disposable camera. I was like, fuck you. And I was like, I'll commit this to memory.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
So you've met a few people in the airport.
Yeah, the way it's looking, WrestleMania 37 is going to be going in Tampa. I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I mean, it was supposed to be where you're going, in Cali.
Well, I was hoping you'd be there with me. Shit.
Yeah. And this is kind of extra shitty too, because the spot that they're doing it in was the one that they were supposed to do the WrestleMania in for 36. But the COVID shit. So the Raymond James
what I think they're doing
Stadium.
is probably pushing everyone a year back.
Say what?
I think they're probably just pushing everyone a year back.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I know the reason they were so adamant on doing Cali, and that's why I didn't give up on it yet, but probably because I want to go. But it's because that new stadium they built this year, not this year's, next year's Super Bowl is going to be in there.
Oh yeah.
And Vince wanted to set the attendance record because the Super Bowl obviously isn't going to break it. Not that people aren't going to go, but they can't have fans on the field like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm definitely bummed, but Vegas is 4 hours away. So my backup plan, if they don't, So hopefully, Double or Nothing happens in Vegas.
Yeah. I don't know. I might be interested in doing something like that. When is that supposed to be?
It's always Memorial Day weekend, which I like, and I like that's one thing I guess to kind of give AEW credit. I'm gonna move my location. Is I like how their pay per views are on Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
it's
pretty
always
cool.
Memorial Day weekend, I think.
And I think, like, thinking from my standpoint or whatever, a pay-per-view being on a Saturday, I mean, that's like less time that I would have to take off from work too, in a sense, because I can fly in on a Friday night or even early that Saturday and be gone Sunday and be back in time for work. I mean, I don't have to take up all my leave and all kind of shit like that.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Double or Nothing. I want to go to Double or Nothing just because I've only been to WWE shows. I want to do something else now.
They had an AEW show that was going to be here, a
Yeah,
Dynamite
you were
show.
supposed to go.
COVID shit happened and it got canceled, which I got an email probably about a month ago saying that, hey, whenever we come back in 21 or 22 or whatever, you still got a ticket with us. So I think that's cool that they're still honoring it, even though it's going to be like a year or two later.
Yeah, so shit, I don't know, but Trey, because you went to capital punishment too because of the Marine Corps, right?
Well, yes and no, because the way I wind up going there, because that was in DC and I was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I had a homeboy that I served with. He we were stationed there together in Jacksonville, and we would keep in touch regularly. He was like one of the rare ones that I didn't know because of wrestling that I would actively keep up with. So I talked to him right before I went on a deployment, and we was keeping up through email and shit, just keeping tabs and shit. And just one day, stop hearing from him. Phone was off, no emails, nothing. Never heard from him again, like for years. And I was like, whoa, this is fucking weird. I don't know what happened to this guy. He was just like this off the face of the earth. And that, I mean, it's a whole nother story. But I connected with him again, oddly enough, playing Words with Friends. So we sending messages back each other through Words with Friends. And that's how I found him. I don't even know how that shit worked. But I mean, I found him via that. He said he was up in DC. And I drove from Jacksonville to DC to try to find him. And I couldn't get up with him for whatever reason. And I just wound up going to the pay-per-view. Because I mean, that was the fallback plan. My wife was like, you hadn't seen him in years. I remember you talking about him all the time. You know what I mean? You should go up there. And since they're having a show, if you don't meet up or whatever the case may be, at least you'll be there to go to the show. I was like, that's why I married you, because you smart.
Yeah, you get a lot of good opportunities in them. You know what though? The one thing, and I hope it happens. I still got time. I want to see a tribute to the troops.
I never got to see one.
I know the last time they did one, either last year or 2 years ago, they did it on New River, right next to Lejeune.
Yeah, that's that bullshit.
And then they did it. The closest I got, but I couldn't go because I was only there for a cruise school, so it's not like I could just take the day off. They did it in San Diego when I was there on the Navy base over there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just take. They did that at like 12, so I couldn't just take the day off. When you're out of school, you're out of school.
Yeah.
So that was aggravating. So I'm sitting in class and I'm like, I'm 20 minutes away from wrestling.
So which game was it that had Triple H on the front? It was a SmackDown versus Raw. You know what year that was?
I want to say, let me look up. I want to say it's 07.
But you speaking of tribute to the troops or whatever, what they used to do, I don't recall.
Yeah, 2007. Sorry, 2007.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So somewhere in there, I don't know if they still do it, in the before times or whatever. But they used to go to different fobs in theater, in country. I mean, and they would go to Iraq and all those other places, and they would visit military bases. So they visited where I was. And I don't know if you've seen the picture or not, but I got to take a picture with all of them. I got to take a picture with Batista, The Miz, CM Punk, freaking Mickey James, Alicia Fox, John Morrison, and I think maybe two others that I can't recall right now. But they were there on the base. They didn't do a show or anything, but they was just there visiting and doing photo opportunities. They was giving out shirts, and that's where
Your
I
shirt
got
came.
that shirt from that I would wear to every fucking wrestling show that we went to. The Tribute to the Troops shirt.
Would you go to a tribute to the troop show now, even retired?
Yeah,
If you
I mean,
could?
if it was close enough, I mean,
Yeah. Which I'm
because they
from
used to always
Texas,
do
and
them in Fort Hood or whatever, but I don't even know how far that is from me. But I
yeah,
don't know if they
Smart's
want to go do
definitely
that
bigger.
now.
Yeah, I don't know now, but
I mean, even I'm talking about even if we was COVID friendly right now, like if we didn't
yeah,
have a problem going places, I don't know if they want to go now. One of them motherfuckers might come up missing.
yeah, I know, right? With all that crazy shit happening.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
because then was it? Then I was gonna kind of dive into really quick too. You've been kind of watching the build for Survivor Series at all? Or you like out of it, out of it?
Oh, I'm aware because I know of the shenanigans that's going on with AJ and his team and everything, but I
With
don't know.
Riddle, not Matt Riddle, with Riddle.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, man. I I don't know because like I think they do that because you can't own the rights to somebody's actual name, but you can own the rights to a word. So if you don't have like riddle is a word, pretty much. It's just one singular word. So they can kind
Yeah,
of tweak the shit with that. And then even Dave Batista, that's not his name on wrestling. I mean, it's Dave Batista in real life, but it's not on wrestling because they spell the name different. Batista is spelled different from his actual name
I
of
think he has a U in his actual
yeah,
last
and
name.
his actual name is like you something, you know. So it's just some weird copywriting thing that they
Because JR from time to time would call him Dave Bautista. But
yeah, so it's
yeah, I
just
don't
some
know. The only thing I'm confused about it all is with Survivor Series, you need to have a definitive winner, right? Obviously, one brand they're not going to unless they do some crazy tie shit. But and they do some spontaneous stuff, which I doubt. Which there's only 6 matches, so if there's going to be a winner, an actual winner from the 6, that means it's going to be 4-2, one show versus the other,
Mhm.
which kind of don't like because then you're pretty much shitting on the Raw roster because SmackDown's going to win. They're not going to let Randy beat Roman. They're very high on Bianca Belair, so I don't see the SmackDown's women match losing. I don't see Sasha losing. And then Bobby Lashley will probably beat Sami Zayn. And
Maybe.
then what's the other one? Maybe the men's Raw wins that one somehow. And then there's one more match. Oh, the Street Profits might beat the New Day.
Might.
That's the only one that's kind of. But I don't know if you know, the Hurt Business got that title shot Monday, so I don't know if maybe they'll do a title change.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, I
And
still
it,
like Hurt Business versus
and
Street
it's
Profits.
growing on me. It's growing on me too, man. I want that United States title.
See, I like it. You didn't like it at first.
No, I didn't. But it's growing
I'm a
on me,
big
man.
fan.
I've been looking at it and I was just like, oh, my wife was half paying attention though, but she was in the kitchen and I was in the living room watching. I was like, I kind of said it under my breath, with like whisper, like she came. I was like, "Can you give me that belt?" She's like, "What? Oh, nothing, nothing."
I'm a big Hurt Business fan though too.
I want the MVP shirt.
Yeah,
I don't normally buy shirts. I mean, but I want that MVP shirt, that Hurt Business shirt with the chain. I want
yeah.
that shit.
I'm a big fan of factions having a lot of titles. I know it's not going to happen, but I'd love to see the Hurt Business with all the gold.
Yeah, that's what I want. Really.
Bobby as champion. They'd probably give MVP United States, even though I'd rather maybe see Cedric or Shelton even with it again.
They'll finagle some way to get to 24 again.
Well, no, and then they can have the tag titles. That's 4.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't remember the last time. Well, I know Undisputed Era did an NXT.
Yeah.
But on the main roster, I guess the New Day. On SmackDown, Kofi was champ, and Big E and Xavier had the tag. It's pretty much all the belts, besides whatever Intercontinental US. I don't know what title it had at the time.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
But it's not going to happen.
No, it's not really.
It's not. We want it to, but it won't.
Yeah.
because I don't know what's gonna happen. And then yeah, they've been, but then we also don't know a lot of the team on the SmackDown side. I think they're missing one spot, and I think the SmackDown women's side, there's only Ruby Riott and Bianca identified. The other three haven't been identified.
Mm. I like Ruby and Liv's new
Kind of gimmick.
attire and everything, like
Yeah.
their gear and their hair and all that stuff. I like that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want to see someone get the women's titles. I thought it was cool, honestly, Shayna and Nia, but I'm already kind of over it.
Yeah.
And I'm over Lana going through a table 8 weeks in a row.
I just want to know what's the end game for that. I mean, obviously, they're doing it for a reason. You know, there has to be some kind of payoff. You know, as odd as this shit is, there has to be some ending resolution. You know,
I don't think they know anything that's going on in the women's division. You got the champs, obviously, but they did Sasha and Bailey, so I doubt they're going to do that again at Mania. Which I kind of don't want to see it at Mania. I'd rather see something new. I'm all in the Sasha Bianca train.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
even like
We had this conversation in the group chat. Yeah,
yeah. Even besides that, I'd be cool with Ronda. I'd be cool with that. But I don't know, like, who's gonna face Asuka? You gonna have Charlotte again?
I mean, nobody's. I mean, they could do that because Asuka has never beaten Charlotte.
Yeah, they could, because you got to think they ain't got nobody.
And that's one of the main reasons. That's
well,
what I was
they have people. About. They're not using people. I
yeah, and it's not even that. It's just who's COVID safe and who's not.
The only ones I can see going up against Asuka, if they keep brand integrity right now, is Shayna and then or Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them boosting anyone higher, you know?
And what I'm surprised by that they haven't done yet, which everybody's been clamoring for, is the four horsewomen squaring off. You know, the MMA and the WWE. I'm surprised they hadn't done it yet. I mean, it looked like they was kind of leading toward it a little bit when they were doing the Raw Underground because both of the girls were there, you know, on that show. You know, so
I think the other two, Marina and Jasmine, I think as people would say, I think they're pretty green. Mm-hmm. In parentheses, if people are just listening and not.
Yeah, but they hadn't even been there that long either. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean,
do you think they probably got signed? Like, they're probably very talented. Obviously, they were in the
MMA. Yeah, I mean, one of them married to Roderick Strong, so
yeah, they probably got signed just to kind of get signed too, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then we didn't talk about the draft or whatever. It's just like as soon as they signed Bianca to SmackDown, I was like, I knew the Street Profits had to go over there some kind of way because that's kind of the telltale thing when people move because they go with their spouse, you know.
Yeah.
Because Keith Lee, you know, Keith Lee went to Raw, and then Mia Yim come up.
Yeah, she going to Raw. Well, I guess she's there as Reckoning, but no, even I'm just getting sick of Raw, man. I'm just week by week I watch less and less. Drew's the only one I really like. I like what they're doing with him and Randy still. Randy's been on a roll this year, but like I love the New Day, but it's still different without Big E. I don't know if you watch SmackDown like that, but SmackDown's way better.
I don't know, man, because I get home on Friday and it's just I don't know. I keep telling myself, you know, I'll watch the replay on Hulu. I'll watch later or whatever, and I just never get around to it. But I have been.
So you haven't really seen Roman be Roman, I guess, right? Besides the pay-per-views.
Oh, I'm aware. I know what he's doing. It's just like I don't watch start to end anymore. You know, I'll catch a highlight package here, some clips there. You know, I'll talk about it with a couple people, but I don't actively watch from beginning to end anymore.
I only watch it honestly beginning to end because just with this job recruiting, we work a lot. And Saturday morning, we got to wake up and PT the hooligans in the morning. So usually I don't go out on Fridays. That's kind of like my chill night, you know. Saturdays when I'll go do something. But so I usually just watch SmackDown on Friday because it's only, at least on the East Coast, it's not 8 to 10, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very doable. I don't know. And then I watch NXT, I'd say.
I hadn't even been watching NXT. The only thing I've been keeping up with is AEW. I haven't been watching Dark, but I need to. I mean, there's some.
Well, I want to watch it. The Dudley Boys.
Yeah, the twins. Yeah, Devon's twins are wrestling there now.
Which I don't get how or why WWE never really signed them. Just kind of had a like, hey, we're gonna sign your sons.
And see, and this kind of go back to what I was saying about Jericho. You know how much he is contributing to professional wrestling, and I don't even think this. I can you can even put all this on Jericho. It's just like there's other options, and you want to, as a veteran, especially Jericho and Devon and all them. They've been in that WWE system. They know how it is, and especially for his kids, his young kids, relatively. I don't think he feels like that's something they should be into so early. They got to school, so they trained up well enough in there. I'm pretty sure they worked a couple of independents around where they are. And then
Yeah,
I think the next logical thing, other than WWE, would be AEW.
AEW.
I mean, they could try the ROH route, but I don't think that would be a fit for them particularly. So AEW is like the next best thing for them, especially Dark. Just because a talent is on Dark doesn't mean that they're signed to AEW proper. Because
Which I think is cool though, because it gives
yeah,
them that platform.
yeah, exactly. It's why I like AEW. What they're doing right now, as far as talent goes, they still giving people opportunities, even though they're not under contract. They just do like a little handshake deal or however they do it for a couple matches, and then they go on about their business.
Yeah,
If
I
they
kind
choose
of.
to.
First off, I like Daly's place. I think it's cool. I wouldn't mind watching a show there.
Yeah,
I'd probably go to a pay per view there, but I'm not a COVID crazy down there.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but
Florida's like fuck it. I mean, we can't get no worse. Just open all the shit.
yeah, they're just like yeah, whatever. But I don't know, man. Like Jericho's just doing great things. Like it's crazy. Like yeah, everyone kind of craps on him on Instagram and Twitter because of his
Yeah.
body. But man, you've been wrestling 30 years and he turned 50. Literally, like, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Like, I probably won't look that good at 50.
And then uh, other things that I've been watching is New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I tried to put you on, but you ain't on that level yet.
I watch like the big ones, like Wrestle Kingdom, but I don't know. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I need
Well,
to.
I tell you what, I was like you. Somebody was like, "Hey man, you gotta watch this shit," and then I watched the first couple of things, and I was just like, "This is all right." And then I seen Shinsuke Nakamura for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And I just
Well, the first time I ever watched it was Shinsuke and AJ right before AJ came. You showed me it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. She's like, oh well, he going to WWE. I was like, oh
well, fuck it, I don't need to watch it anymore. That's what you
no,
did.
but before you go off, not go off, I don't because you're not gonna go off, but before you get into the New Japan thing, you were saying, I want to ask you something serious question. If I ever got stationed in like Oki, would you ever go out for like a Wrestle Kingdom?
I want to. It's on the bucket list, just like how WrestleMania was. But I mean, obviously, that's a little
I'd
more.
go because for me, obviously, it'd be a lot cheaper. I get
Oh yeah,
stationed
of
there.
course, no shit, right?
I just got to fly to Tokyo, but at least you know someone.
Yeah, I need to renew my passport. It's about to expire. I never used it either.
I don't even have one to be honest.
I mean, it's like we never really needed it, right? Oh, we're
Yeah,
going.
like you're
Just get
going
on the plane and
Afghanistan. Do
go.
I need a passport? Like, boy,
Just get your ass on the goddamn plane.
get your ass on the plane. No, what were you gonna say about New Japan?
Oh, it's just Minoru Suzuki. He's a 52 years old, and he moves like a 30-year-old man. It's crazy how some of those guys just kind of retain their youth and everything. Because like the style there is really, really athletic. We talk
Yeah,
about WWE being like this entertainment sports showy type shit, but like they take their sports like seriously. It's just they treat it like bona fide athletes. I mean, WWE they have their own thing too, but like those guys there is just crazy. And to have somebody his age, 52 years old, 53 or something like that, and to be that mentally and physically aware is just crazy. And then here we are. We're gonna talk about the Undertaker again. He like 54, 55, something like that, somewhere in that
like
range.
55. Yeah,
Yeah, closer to 60 than anything. And then you have Kane, who is 2 years younger than him, I believe, or something like that, who is in way better shape than the Undertaker.
yeah.
So
Kane's starting to get his. All right, man. I'm a politician. I'm done wrestling. I got my little belly going.
I mean, but you know he'll come back around when campaign time comes. Be like, oh, I need some votes. Let me go put the mask on.
Let me go do an appearance. I kind of liked how Glenn Jacobs won the 24/7 title, not Kane. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool, actually.
Hmm. I told you it must have
It,
been campaign season.
it was. You know, it was.
See?
Yeah, he got to do what he's got to
Smart
do.
business. Smart business.
It is. Why wouldn't you use that platform? You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
That'd be like The Rock if he ever ran for something not trying to get on a television show.
Yeah.
Where
So
you
let's stop it right there. Goddamn. What do you think about all this shit about Roman Reigns versus The Rock?
so Rock and Taker are my two favorite of all time.
Mm.
So it's like, do I want to see it? Yeah. But like I said, the little kid in me, now being older, I know Roman will win. But it's like little kid in me still like, I'll be pissed when Roman wins. You know what I mean? I'm all about it. I don't think, even though I get the storyline they're gonna go with, the family thing, I don't think that's passing the torch at all. I think that's just Rock going to get more eyes on Roman. But I'm all about it. But I'm all about it. But if they keep going this route with Roman being this monster's heel, I'd way rather see Big E get it. You know what I mean?
I'm down with that.
You know,
And
because even if
I'm
he lost, even if Big E lost,
yeah.
I'd rather see on Big E lose to Roman at Mania than say at the Rumble, and then Rock gets him at Mania.
I
I'd
don't know.
like to see Big E be the one to take it from him,
Yeah, that's true too.
because obviously the Rock's not going to take it from him.
I kind of like what they're doing with Angel Garza from what I've been seeing. He's been cutting a lot of promos and everything. And I kind of like him. I didn't like him at first. He's another one that kind of grew on me. But what kind of makes me sad about that is what the fuck are they doing with Andrade?
I
Andrade
don't.
Andrade is he could be a world champion or a universal
Yeah, it's crazy because he's so good.
champion.
He was good. Well, not I guess being good in NXT really doesn't mean anything. We learned that, but he's engaged to the Flair family. Like I don't get how that's not in a way. Granted, he should be at that level just based off his talent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then to have that name backing him up, like I don't get it either.
And another guy that I got my eye on as well in the same uh wheelhouse there is the Escobar dude. That's the
Oh, the cruiserweight
cruiserweight
champion.
champion. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I've known him for, I mean, not personally, but TV wise, since he was in Lucha Underground as King Cuerno. But to hear him on the mic and the way he speak, man, is just like I like that dude. I like him a lot. Him, even the promo exchange him and Swerve had back and forth before they had the title match. That was
I
great.
like Swerve.
Yeah, Swerve is good too. I mean, they got so much potential, man. All of them, and it's just like, let's bring back Goldberg. Let's bring back Brock. Let's bring back the Undertaker. Yeah.
I'm a big Damian Priest fan.
I like him too. I seen him
From the entrance to everything.
Yeah, I seen him almost die once. That was kind of scary.
Where?
It was when I went to WrestleMania in New Orleans. They had the ROH Super Show there. It was ROH and New Japan had a pay-per-view show together. That was when Kenny Omega went against Cody.
Yeah, that's when you met everyone, right?
Yeah. And then he dove over the corner post to the outside and he missed. Kind of.
He's a big dude, isn't he?
And
Like
hit the
6'5"?
ground. Yeah, 6'5", doing crazy shit like that.
What was he known as in Independence?
Punishment Martinez.
Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, because he even had that name when he first got to NXT,
mm-hmm.
and then they changed it.
Yep, but
they're just ruining people. Look at it, Dominic Dijakovic. Like, that's dumb. And then Dio Madden, I never really seen him wrestle, but
no.
I never really saw how big he was until he stood up next to Brock that one time. I was like, damn, that's a big son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, how are you dropping the ball with these guys?
Yeah.
But then you got Lars Sullivan, who does every crime under the planet wrong. You're giving him a push.
Yeah, hey man,
white and hairy.
Hey man, $20 is $20.
Yeah, that's his lifestyle. I hate that dude. Even before all this shit, I was not a Lars Sullivan guy.
I liked him in NXT. Like when he first, I just what kind
I
of
only liked his entrance.
yeah, the entrance was cool. The car crash or the scream or whatever, then the red light and all. I thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
I thought he was good for a big man. I mean, he didn't do nothing too crazy or whatever. He had a good match with Aleister Black where he whiffed the black mass, but I mean, that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
You know.
They don't even get me started on Aleister Black, how they just
All right, I
ruined
won't.
it.
So let's keep it moving. Uh
Because, yeah, you and I are both pretty upset about it. Remember we both said he was a potential contender to win the Rumble?
yeah.
And then we talked last show, like we said, Big E, The Rock, or Edge are like the most likely winners.
I know. And then
Who would think in 2021, 2 out of the 3 would be The Rock and Edge?
shit, who would thought in 2020 Edge would have been even in this conversation?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But he's good. Like, if Edge came back and won the Rumble, would I be low-key salty? I'd be like, yeah, because he's done it before and he's older. You know what I mean? But he got screwed with that whole how he got hurt with retirement early and all that. So he's different. It was different than when Batista came back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Blue Tista.
That was mad funny. It came down to him and Roman, and everyone was going batshit crazy, somehow thinking Roman was going to win that while in the Shield. And then a year later, they're booing the shit out of him when he wins.
Yeah, no shit, right? It's just like supposedly they call audibles all the time. They change stuff at the last minute. They always doing this, they always doing that. But when it really fucking matter, they never fucking do it. Like that could have been an audible. That right there, they could have been like, "Oh man, you hear this crowd? Let's do that instead." You know, and they'll work it out later like they always fucking do. I don't fucking get it.
Just like how pretty much I think up until like a week or two before the Rumble, or even the week of, it was Shayna winning the whole thing, and then Charlotte won. Did the place go pretty nuts for Charlotte?
Yeah. When
she won the Rumble when you were there?
Oh, it was more like,
Was it more Shayna?
I mean, it was almost like what we were just talking about. Anybody other than her.
And then she won. But the place went nuts when McIntyre won.
Oh, fucking right, man. I was at the concession stand after, it was after he won. I went up to around the thing because the kids was in the bathroom and fireworks went off and it fucking blew my eardrums. And I was like, ah! And it was just crazy.
Besides Edge, because Edge obviously got loudest pop of the night. No one's beating that. But
MVP.
Was it MVP?
It was all just me, though.
Yeah. But who would have thought? And not only would you be hearing it, because the Rumble spot he did, that was coming eventually. He's one of them guys they would have brought back to do that, right? But who would have thought in 2020, MVP would probably be, I would say, probably top 5 best things in WWE programming.
You couldn't doubt it anyway.
You know what I mean?
What I would much rather him be in more of a managerial role, kind of like what he's doing now.
Oh,
but,
I think
less hands on. But I mean, hey, I'm happy with what I can get because I just like MVP.
Yeah, and this is gonna solidify. I thought he was already. He probably would have been in the Hall of Fame anyway, but I think this is gonna solidify it even more.
Oh yeah, because I was very pissed when they had like that Raw reunion or old school bullshit.
Oh, the Raw 25.
Yeah, that shit. And he was there at that poker game with the APA and all that shit, and all he did was ballin', and nobody said nothing. I was like, "This is what you're gonna do with MVP."
I don't like when they do that shit. Like in general, like I think those shows are cool because it's nice. Like, yo, I haven't seen MVP on WWE program forever, but they're gonna bring him back. Like,
do something.
Like I didn't know this, but when SmackDown debuted on Fox, unless you watch the WWE like the day of thing, they have it's like 20 minutes long. They had all those superstars there, but didn't like use them. Like I don't know if they did like a super show after, but like you see like Goldberg was there and made an entrance through like the thing, Sting, I think Ric Flair. I don't get though, even whether he was on TV or not, I'm really surprised they didn't put the Undertaker on that. I get it, they had The Rock, but even like for an off-brand thing, like now granted The Rock show was SmackDown, but if it wasn't Rock's, it was Taker's. You know what I mean? That's like, yeah. So I don't know.
And then what was he talking about? What were we talking about? I think it was just the Undertaker in general. I was just like, and how shitty is this to where like you associate the Undertaker with SmackDown more than anything? Obviously, he built his roots in Raw in the early '90s and shit and all
Yeah.
that other stuff. But he was majority a SmackDown guy. He even came back for that one Survivor Series or the bragging rights or whatever the fuck, or was it Survivor Series? To where he's like, if SmackDown don't win, it's gonna be hell to pay.
Oh, that was he
Yeah,
came back down on the nine. I remember it was the 900th episode of SmackDown, but it was the go home before Survivor Series in
yeah,
2016. Because remember
yeah,
that's when he talked about Shane being like a fearless guy.
yeah. And after that, he was never on fucking SmackDown ever again.
Yeah, he
Every
did
time he
one
came
thing
back, he
on
was
like
on Raw. What the
I
fuck?
don't get. Yeah, they just do shit so weird. I just want if you could pick right now with how their bodies are, so not in their prime, if you could pick two dudes to come back to face each other, like who would you pick? Like me, like The Rock's obviously in amazing shape. And I don't know if when you see Stone Cold when he on TV or his Broken Skull sessions or on
Oh
Instagram,
yeah, he always in shape.
he I think he's bigger, just like The Rock, bigger now than he was during the wrestling days.
That's a different bigger though.
Yeah. But do you think them two, if they fought, could put on like a decent match? Say they knew, so they trained, obviously.
I
Like,
believe so.
do you think they could put on a good match?
I believe so. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It won't ever happen. Stone Cold will
Oh
never
no,
come
oh,
back.
I know that, but
But you
if
can't say never. You never thought Shawn Michaels was going to come back. But
yeah,
I still think,
well, shit, you throw $10 million at me, it's hard to say no.
but I can't believe when Shawn Michaels came back, they did the Crown Jewel, the tag match, DX versus Brothers. They
Never
talked about
seen
that in the thing, and all four of them were like, "Wow, that was awful." Shawn Michaels, they show him backstage after. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, you missed the hole by this much." He's like, "We missed by this much." Like he was very open about, "Wow, like that match." So I wonder if Pride's going to be a son of a bitch, and
Well,
he'll
see,
come back for something
and that's the
else.
thing too. It's just like if that was Shawn Michaels from 10 years ago or further back, that wouldn't have been a conversation. That interview wouldn't have went like that. That match
Yeah.
wouldn't have went like that. But now it's just like, yeah, slap some money
Because
at
you got to think, Taker and Shawn is, in some people's opinion, both of their matches are the greatest match ever.
Yes. My favorite WrestleManias of all time. All three of them back to back. It was Shawn and Flair, then Shawn and Taker 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think Shawn and Taker 1 was the best though. In Houston, I think just storyline, it was way better the second time. Obviously, career versus streak, but yeah, it's just crazy because Taker kind of made it known in the documentary that he had all playing purposes of retiring after Roman. Like, come on, he even contacted Vince McMahon 3 days before. It's like, hey, you can record me. You're not going to just record yourself to do it, especially him, because I will give Taker this. He's Mr. Kayfabe until recently.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell you, standing next to fucking LeBron James in a full fucking Undertaker gear.
Yeah.
Until he started doing goddamn with Dr. Disrespect for a fucking video game tournament and shit. Until he started power driving motherfuckers on Jimmy Kimmel and shit.
Now he's everywhere, but
sorry,
and then he said when he agreed for the match with Cena, he already signed on to do the first Saudi shit. And then after that, he obviously just kept going. But he might be done. He made it sound like after AJ, he was done. Like,
he was done at 28. WrestleMania 28 or 27, whatever fucking one that the Hell in the Cell was.
Yeah. He says it all the time. He says it all the time that it's the pop and like, what else did he say? He says all the time. He says, I say it to Shawn all the time. I wish I went when you went.
Yeah. If he want pops, he can go to goddamn conventions, which this is WWE fault as well. He was doing. He was going to be at the AEW,
they talk about that
and shit. Until there's like, nah, player. Yeah, take this money real quick, and you stay over here. You don't go over there. It was him and Kurt Angle.
Yeah, didn't he sign like some crazy year deal after that?
Yes, it was him and Kurt Angle.
11-year deal or something, or a 30-year deal.
Something like, I don't know. I don't know the particulars, but I heard he signed some crazy shit. But it was him, Kurt Angle, and what I think
is that what it's called? Starrcade or Starrcast?
Starrcast, yeah.
Starrcade was the pay-per-view.
Yeah, him, Kurt Angle, and I think Sting or something, maybe,
Sting or Flair?
or somebody. They was all supposed to be at Starcast, and then there was like, nope, 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 nope.
He said him and Vince actually beefed about that.
Yeah, especially if you say, let's say it just wasn't a contract. He just said he would be there, just to do the thing or whatever. But you give your word at some point. That's got to be more to somebody than anything.
Well, you know what it is too. Like you always hear Vince doesn't want people around that, and I could see why, right? Competition, all that. But do you really think? Like, do you really like Brock? Wouldn't surprise me because Brock's all about money, right? But do you really think Taker's going to show up at Double or Nothing? No, like no.
No.
I think it's crazy. You ever
But
see the Edge's 24 documentary?
but go back to a couple of statements that you just made a little while ago. The Undertaker openly admitted, you hear the pop, you feel the roar of the crowd and all the other bullshit. Who's to say that when it happened over there? He went over there, did the Starcast thing, maybe stayed behind for the show, felt that energy in the crowd, and like, hey man, what's up? What's happening? Goddamn junkie. That's what he is, goddamn it.
He is. But did you ever watch the Edge's 24?
Yeah, I watched that one.
How he AEW reached back out to him first.
Yeah.
Imagine
And he almost entertained it, but he felt like he had unfinished business over there.
Which you can't blame him.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind if he was fit and mentally, stable enough to do it. I ain't saying any crazy or nothing, but if he is like all sound, mind and body to continue wrestling for a little while longer, I wouldn't mind him doing the Jericho route.
Sting's gonna show up there at some point. Sting will show up on AEW. But I guess one more quick thing we can talk about before we wrap it up. I know you got things to do. We've talked about this before, but it's always one of those things I always like to run back and re-entertain. More on who do you see now that it's been a whole year of AEW? We've had a whole year of AEW, right? Like, I don't know if you saw Cody's tweet pretty much saying, like, hey, rookies, you're not rookies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you see jump and shift from AEW to WWE? Now, WWE to AEW could be friggin' anyone, you know what I mean? Depending on who they release. But who do you see being the first one to jump ship?
I don't know. Just currently the people I see, I don't think it'll be Brian Cage.
I don't think it'll be like an MJF. I don't think the big.
I don't think it'll be a Hangman. I don't think it'll be MJF. I don't think it'll be Ricky Starks or Darby Allin. But I believe pretty much everybody else that is not in a managerial role or EVP role or whatever the fuck.
Maybe the females. I can see the females. Like maybe like a Nyla Rose.
Maybe a few. But
like I could see maybe Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford going over there.
Yeah, anybody other than the names that I just said, John Moxley included, I don't think. Well, I take that back. I pull that back.
Well, no. So Moxley actually said recently in an interview he has no desire to go back. Now, obviously, shit changes.
Yeah. Well, I say that. I take that back because he's been there before, and obviously he'll say that now because he's been in that environment. We already know his dismay with the company and everything, but years from now, that could change. That's always, I say that because he was there once, and it would have been a hella different conversation if he never been at all. I've been like, hell, I could see Moxley going over there, but he's been there for a long time. FCW, NXT, WWE, the whole nine.
Grand Slam champion in WWE.
Exactly.
Do you see Jericho?
Fought CM Punk. Fought William Regal.
Do you see Jericho going back? Because Jericho, not vocally known. He has a good relationship, he says, still with Vince.
Of course.
You think so?
Yes.
For a run, like a final match?
If anything, if we're talking about going back as in an appearance, yes. If we're talking about as in being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, yes. But match, 50-50 on that.
You know the thing I don't get about WWE, and it's obviously Vince. Vince makes all the final calls with big shit, and you'll see what I'm getting at is Jericho mentioned going to New Japan to Vince, right? he always told Vince like everything. Because I guess when AEW came around, they were working out a thing too. But he's like, no, like he made it known. Like when Jericho came out on that press conference, Vince knew. It's not like that's when WWE found out. But they never highlight Jericho on WWE. Like they did during the Taker documentary, the first chapter, but they never talk about him having the most intercontinental title reigns or the most amount of Royal Rumble time, or he's not in any of like the graphics anymore. And they like I don't get why they do that when he's like, yeah, we got a good relationship, this, and this, but we're not gonna show Jericho. Like you see, they talk about Ambrose. Didn't he? Yeah.
When they talk about Ambrose.
I feel when they talk about the Shield and stuff, don't you think?
Well, I don't think they say Dean Ambrose specifically, or do they just say the Shield?
I'd have to pay attention more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not going to talk about anybody that's not currently making them no money.
I want to know when
that's just how it is.
Band.
They don't even talk about who held the longest, with the most tag team title reigns before the New Day. They don't even talk about who had the longest tag team title reigns before the New Day, because I believe what it was like Demolition or some shit like that.
Yeah, now it's
and they had a lawsuit with them a long time ago. So obviously they ain't gonna talk about no shit like that.
I wonder when Jericho's gonna.
Hell, they don't even talk about the Dudleys.
Yeah, until they pass them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, see, Brian agreed. Dudley Boys.
Dudley Boys are the best tag team of all time. As much as I was more growing up, more of a Hardy Boy guy.
Well, since I got two wrestling fans here in the chat, Brian and Eric, this is a question that I want to pose to you before we wrap it up. In 10 years from now, I know I asked this question before. I think you might have said the same thing, or me and Anomaly might have said the same thing. But 10 years from now, who is the best tag team in the world that we look back on and be like, hey, this is the greatest tag team in the world? Because, I mean, obviously for the generation, it's the Dudley Boys, you know, but from henceforth, you know, with all the stuff that's going on, all these new tag teams and everything, but 10 years from now, who are we going to be saying that about?
I'm going to say New Day, though.
Yeah, we got the New Day and the Young Bucks. I believe. Yeah. I really believe that.
Hey, shit, so right there.
And I'm saying that from a guy who has not even really seen an ass load of Young Bucks.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And in 10 years from now, I believe they'll be one of the greatest tag teams ever.
And then one last thing.
They'll be all-time great tag teams because of the boundaries they pushed as a group.
Yeah, and the reigns and how they got. Do you think the Street Profits are going to split when they kind of lose titles, or do you see them being like a long 10-year? Because obviously it's obvious Montez will be a single star. That's going to happen. Angelo too, maybe, but Montez obviously. Do you think they have a multiple tag reign?
Maybe, but I don't see a lot for Docs. I don't.
I hate that too because he's athletic as shit. But look at Montez.
He was in NXT for 7 to 10 years. You know,
it'll be like. What'd they say? They say anything yet?
Oh, yeah. Eric, he's torn between New Day and the Usos, which, you know, you can count the Usos out either. You're exactly right.
It's pretty much New Day, Usos, or Young Bucks. Who comes slow? Unless FTR, they go on this massive role.
FTR is just like blah. Their match was okay at the pay-per-view, but they just blah to me.
What did you watch Full Gear?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
It was good. I liked it. It just
Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, the whole show was good, and they had bad spots in it. So it's just not like I can't say the show wasn't good because of those bad spots in it, or whatever, or vice versa. I can't say it was a bad show because there was more good than bad. You know, it's just crazy.
Depending on what people watch, some still say the Briscoes.
Oh yeah,
I would say
you're right.
Tie, New Day, Usos. Is he saying Briscoes and Young Bucks as the other two? Or is he putting something else?
Depending on what people watch, you know, because some people don't watch what we watch. You know, some people don't watch AEW. Some people only watch ROH for some odd reason. Some people only watch TNA if you listen to the UWO podcast. And yeah, I guess it is subjective, as is everything, you know. But yeah, man.
Who would you say we'll go back 3 years. So we'll say 2017, and then we go to 2020. Well, 2030, I should say. Who are some of the best single competitors by 2030? Maybe up and comers. Obviously, you can still say Roman. You can still say Rollins. Those are obvious.
And see, man, Brian keep bringing up a lot of good ones that I'm ashamed to say that I had forgotten about. We got the Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley.
Oh yeah.
Chris Sabin. There was a phenomenal tag team, and I was hype as hell when they made that return in what was that Impact, and they won the freaking tag titles. I don't know too much about the North there, guy. I know who they are, but
I know who they are, but I don't know that much about them.
Oh, Ethan Elemental P, whatever the fuck his name is. Then they got the guy that wear the earmuffs, the wrestling head gear. Earmuffs.
Yeah, that's all I really got.
Yeah, but yeah,
we'll be back for the Survivor Series preview show.
Yeah,
that's when I got you.
Yeah, hopefully I can still do that. But singles, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Freaking.
Think Montez?
I don't know.
10 years.
Maybe. And it's crazy.
MJF?
Yeah, MJF. I like him a lot.
I do too.
I don't know. I want to see what that Escobar guy is in 10 years. The cruiserweight champion. Hell, I did a complete 180 on fucking Jordan Devlin, man. I hated the fuck out of that guy. I put him in the same boat with Finn Balor. Obviously, because Finn Balor trained him and he looked like a little Finn Balor clone, but Jordan Devlin does it for me now. And I like that. And
are they ever gonna do a match, those two?
What, the cruiserweight guys?
Yeah, they're not unless they make that the NXT UK cruiserweight. But I don't know how many
NXT cruiserweight, NXT UK cruiserweight title.
Yeah, like I don't know. I love me some Walter.
Yeah, that you seen the one
with
him
who's going to be in 2030? Malcolm Bivens.
Malcolm Bivens for president.
I love that dude's Twitter is so funny. I love how he turns everything into rap somehow.
He said, "Don't forget beer money. Fuck beer money."
Nah, they're not greatest. They were good, honestly.
They were good together, but fuck them.
Did you see Randy Orton tweet, "Who's James Storm"?
No.
What a prick.
And who got singles in 10 years? MJF, Sammy Guevara, Devlin, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, and Buddy. Hey, it's not Buddy Murphy. It's Murphy. God damn it.
You really think Jungle Boy? That's a shocker.
And Cedric Alexander too.
Yeah. I'd like to see honestly any of them. What about Matt Hardy?
Who?
Matt Hardy.
Bitch, I hang up on you right now.
Go the fuck home.
10 years from now, I hope he's damn in a retirement home somewhere.
Him and Jeff.
Yeah. Shit, I'll take Jeff another 10 years over Matt. I'll take Jeff 20 years for not another year of Matt Hardy.
Hey, I'm just saying I love everything Jeff Hardy's doing personally. Still.
But yeah, anyway. Thank you all for listening. On behalf of myself and I did it right, Nick Anicelli. This has been Wrestling is Trash. Be sure to follow on social media and find all the episodes on randomrob.com. Beep, 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 beep. Hold on, I got the button.